And then, so if we were to try to wrap everything you've learned in the last 10 months, because you started this agency less than a year ago, which is insane, what are like the 2 or 3 main frameworks that someone needs to take to go from 0 to 1 with their own dev agency?
Whew, that's a good question. 2 or 3 frameworks. One thing is like you need to understand as a founder that your job is to replace yourself as fast as humanly possible at every role, because you start with every role. And so you start as a programmer, you start as the marketer, you start as the content development person, you start as the finance person, right? And so as soon as humanly possible, you have to get yourself out of those roles, at least in the day-to-day of those roles, so that you can focus on building the business. And if you don't do that, you'll just be bogged down and stressed, and will be unable to scale. So I think that's something that's helped is I was able to do that, and that allowed us to move pretty quickly. Another thing is you've got to, just like we've been talking about, you've got to figure out top of funnel. There are a ton of books out there. A great one, like Alex Hormozy has a great book, $100 Million Leads, I think it is.
Good book, yeah.
Yeah. There's like, if you're looking for frameworks, like that guy's got it down pat. And, but you've got to figure out top of funnel, and like, don't get complacent. Don't just count on doing good work. If you just do good work, maybe you'll grow, maybe, but like you gotta put in the blood, sweat, and tears on really every front that you possibly can that's giving you the returns, because top of funnel is the hardest problem to solve. Once you solve top of funnel, like, if I get a project and I don't have a dev, I just go hire the dev, right? The hard part is not hiring devs. The hard part is getting the clients, right? So like that, like if you can solve that, like that's the key lever to push for growth. And then, yeah, I think another thing to be concerned about, which I didn't, is part of was, and maybe it's just because it happened so fast, I don't know. But like at the beginning, I kept telling myself like, this whole thing could fall apart. Like it isn't really real. Like, well, whatever. Like, and I didn't, like, part of me didn't want to take it too seriously, because I didn't want it. Like if it failed, I didn't want to be like, oh, it's my life stream, my life's work. But now I realize like, okay, it is kind of real and culture matters a ton. Right. And I wasn't very cognizant of like the culture I was creating. It just sort of happened organically, like it does at every company. But having your culture defined, knowing what your values are, and then finding people who match those values is extremely important. So like the people you bring in at the beginning of your journey will define your culture. So make sure that those are awesome people that are consistent with your values. That's so important. So I don't know if that's everything you need, but those are some good things probably.